Hello YouTube, this is Asatsu Fad. This is going to be a theological video, and I want to use this kind of framing device. I've talked to Muslims, I've talked to atheists. I want to make an observation, and then I want to give a shout out to someone, and then I'm going to get into the meat potatoes of this video. I've talked to several atheists. Not one atheist I've talked to acted like they cared about me. Now they use my belief to belittle me, to make fun of me, and to say very hurtful things to me. One of them I really love. Yeah, that was a very hurtful experience, and she betrayed me. And then I've talked to Muslims, and I want to make this comment before I start the video. I've talked to some very arrogant Muslims who made a slam page about me on Instagram called Austin is an Atheist, and they said a lot of stupid things, and they just yelled at me. They didn't want to conversate. They just wanted to. They called me Ibis, if you get the reference, and the Satan. Anyways, I'm now the only member of that group, Austin is an Atheist. It's not true, but I said some things they didn't like, and they're no longer part of that group that they started. But anyways, that was a sad experience, talking to those Muslims who were very arrogant, hateful, and rude. But I will tell you that I've talked to more Muslims who acted like they cared about me than I've talked to atheists and Black Hebrew Israelites. I've never talked to a single atheist who acted like they cared about me. They just wanted to pick a fight and insult my intelligence. I've talked to a few Muslims who genuinely wanted to conversate and genuinely wanted to help me see the correct view of God in their eyes. And I say this because I have a Muslim viewer or follower on YouTube and Instagram. And there was this arrogant Muslim who was making a post. It wasn't overly rude, but he was just, he was being uncharitable and stuff. And I made a counter post to him. And this YouTuber who follows me answered my my response. And I don't think he quite got where I was getting at. And I'm not trying to insult him or anything at all. It's just when you make a post, it can be translated in different ways because it's just a type. It's just a paragraph or whatever. And I'm not going to get into that right now because it's not important right now. But he gave me permission to use his name, and his channel name on the internet is Bushcrafting Muslim. And he has been super respectful to me, and I believe he genuinely cares about my soul and my view of God. I believe he's a caring person. He's genuine, and that's why I'm making this video, not specifically to badger him, but I know that there are Muslims out there who genuinely care about Christians, and on the flip side, I genuinely care about Muslims. I really do. And I think if we have that bridge, we can have a conversation. Now, this video isn't specifically to call Bushcrafting Muslim out, although I'd like for him to respond, but I don't want to put a magnifying glass on him and say, analyze everything he says and pick on him. This is an open invitation to any Muslim who wants to engage this thought and do a little bit of searching, do a little bit of reflecting and contemplating. Now, I own the Quran with Christian commentary, and I own, and this is the one that I read cover to cover, and I own the Holy Quran text and translation commentary by Abdullah Yusuf Ali. This is volume 1. I'm not going to get all 3 volumes out at once. This one has the Arabic and the English and the English commentary, and I think it's funny that the page numbers are in Roman numerals, but everything else is in Arabic numerals or Arabic numbers. So you got Roman numbers, which is like the IV, LM, and then you got the Arabic numbers, is what the English-speaking or the American world, or almost the majority of the world, uses Arabic numbers. And I thought that was funny. Haven't read these cover to cover, but I occasionally open them up to get the Arabic or Muslim perspective. And this is the one that I read cover to cover. And I started this book April 12th, 2021, and I finished it September 7th, 2023. And I have a little highlighter guide, and I got a little bit distracted, lost my highlighters, and I had to regroup to finish this book. So, this is going to be the content of this video. This is a challenge, and this is often referred to as the Islamic dilemma. I have a very limited Arabic vocabulary or pronunciation. I did study a little bit of Arabic, but not enough to really, make a difference. But you got, let's see, Al-Nisa. This is Surah 447. You have been given the book, believe in what we have sent down, confirming to you what has come before. So what does that mean? This is saying that the Quran is confirming the scriptures that came before the Quran, and that is the Gospels, the Injil, the Torah. Some of you might not know this, but the Quran affirms the inspiration, preservation, and authority of the Gospels, or what they call the Injil, and the Torah. And I'm just going to read a couple of verses. This is Al-Mia Adiyah. I'm mispronouncing that. This is Surah 5. This is, whoever does not judge by what God has sent down, they are the disbelievers. And that is Surah, I think it's 544, or it might be 545. I'm having a hard time reading. And then you got, whoever does not judge by what God has sent down, they are the evildoers. This is all on the same page. So let the people of the gospel judge by what God has sent down, and whoever does not judge by the gospel sent down, those are the wicked. So this surah in the Quran is commanding Christians to judge by what Allah has revealed to us, which is the gospel. It's right there if you want to pause and read it. So this is a command for Christians to judge by the Injil. And then we got other verses saying that the Quran affirms what the Injil says. And I don't think I have this next verse bookmarked because I was running out of bookmarks. But in the Quran, and I can probably look this up on my phone, I prefer to... There's Surah 6, 1, 15. The word of your God is perfect in truth and just. No one can change his words, so God's word is eternal and cannot be changed. I can't find that one that I want to quote. Okay, I'm going to paraphrase this, and Muslims should recognize it if they read, if they understand the Quran, if they read it in English, or if they understand classical Arabic. But there's a verse in the Quran that says... the Christians should judge by, or the Christians, or the people of the book should judge by what Allah has revealed. If they do not judge by the gospel, then they have no ground to stand on. And that was the one I was looking for. Unfortunately, I ran out of bookmarks and I can't find it on my phone. But anyways, over and over again, the Quran, and I'm going to lift up this one, but the Quran says that the Bible is preserved and authoritative to Christians. And some Muslims say, well, that's the Injil. Well, we have no archaeological or manuscript evidence that there was a different gospel than the gospel. At least none that the Muslims would recognize. Now, there's some Gnostic texts that claim to be gospels, but those were late entries that are not ascribed to the first century writers who were writing the Bible in the first century. They were second and third century writings claiming to be part of the gospel. Not only that, we have manuscripts from the time of Muhammad that say the same thing that our Bible says today. So, again, we have all these verses that affirm the preservation and inspiration and authority of the Bible, but yet the Quran differs in theology and in history than the Bible. The Bible says that Jesus was crucified, died, and resurrected. The Quran denies that, and most scholars, I'm going to say 99% of the scholars say the surest fact in history is Jesus being crucified and dying, and most scholars agree that the tomb is empty. Now they come to different conclusions and they struggle with how that works, but most scholars believe that Jesus died on crucifixion. They think that's the surest fact in classical history, and they agree that if the tomb wasn't empty, then things that were said about Jesus and his followers would be hard to explain. Also, in the Quran, Jesus denies his deity over and over again. In the Bible, in the Gospels, Jesus affirms his deity. Now, this is done a lot more subtly in the eyes of Muslims, because they want to hear, where in the Gospels does it say, "I am God, worship me," in those exact words. And you don't hear Jesus saying, "I am God, worship me," in those words in the Bible, because, he didn't say them. But he did use the divine name to refer to himself. He did refer to himself as the Son of the Blessed One. He did refer to himself as the Son of Man coming in on the clouds on the right hand of the power, receiving worship, glory for all eternity, worship by all nations and all tongues, and from Daniel, that reference. So, in the Jewish mind, Jesus claimed to be God, and that's why when Jesus was being interrogated by the Sanhedrin, they said, "Did you hear this blasphemy?" And they wanted to kill him for claiming to be God. And the Romans didn't really care about killing him. It was the Pharisees, the Jews, who wanted to kill him. And so in the Quran, they accused the Jews of saying, "We killed the Messiah, son of Mary." There would not be a single Muslim there wouldn't be a single Jew bragging about killing the Messiah. That just doesn't happen. So the Bible, and I want to use this one, in this book, contradict on many different subjects. So this is the dilemma. Either what the Quran says about the Bible is true, and then Islam is false because the Bible contradicts the Quran, or what the Quran says about the Bible isn't true, then Islam is false still. It can't work. It doesn't matter if the Quran is true or untrue about what it says about the Bible. It disproves Islam. And I know that might be a little bit confusing, but you can't have two books and one of them claims to affirm the one, but they contradict. And we have like over 10,000 manuscripts of the Bible, the New Testament, and from the first century to the time of Muhammad, and the Bible contradicts the Quran just about every step of the way. I think one of the few things that the Quran and the Bible get in common and agree on is the story of Joseph. That's like, a one-for-one agreement. But other than that, they don't really agree. So that is the dilemma. Either what the Quran says about the Bible is true, or then Islam is still false because the Bible contradicts the Quran, or what the Bible, what the Quran says about Islam is false, and Islam is still false. And then you got this issue. The Quran claims that Jesus was not crucified and did not die by crucifixion, but Allah made it appear to be. If Allah made Jesus appear to die on the cross, either by substitution or swoon theory, that means that Allah was the prime mover and shaker, the prime inventor of Christianity. And he misled all the apostles of Jesus. He misled all of us Christians, and Allah created Christianity and purposely misled us. And if Jesus was truly the Islamic Messiah, and he was a great prophet, and he taught Tawheed, and he taught Allah, the Islamic conception of God, and then he was the most absolute failure of a prophet ever. He didn't gain one convert to Islam. And so you have to say either Jesus or Isa from the Quran was a failure, and you have to also consider that Allah created Christianity and purposely misled people. So that's the video. Again, to my Muslim viewers, and that's Bushcrafting Muslim and anybody else that comes across this video. I'm not saying this to, I'm not an Islamophobe, and however you identify that. And I want to make a confession. I used to hate Muslims. I grew up in 2001 watching the Twin Towers burn, and all I knew about Islam was turbans, 72 virgins, and Allahu Akbar, and planes crashing into buildings. I knew nothing about Islam, and I hated them because of the fear they gave me during that time period. And I didn't understand Islam, and I eventually came to the conclusion that I need to learn what Islam believes, and I need to know what I disagree with them about. If I don't like Islam, why is that? What do they teach? And I have come to conclude that there are some really terrible Muslims, and I think a lot of them are very orthodox, and there was Muslims who are really, really genuinely good people. And I've heard these Muslims, I've heard their stories. They generally care about people, and I think that there was a mental disconnect there with their history and theology. But I believe there are genuine Muslims who truly care about people, and they want us to find Allah and place our trust in them. But I used to be an Islamophobe and hating Islam and hating Muslims, but that's in the past. I don't believe that in the slightest. I feel for them. I'm concerned about them, and I want them to know the real Jesus. So that's it. That's the video. I hope you consider the content in this video and reflect, research, and pray. So that's it. I'm a Satsu 5, and I'm out.